welcome to another episode of Daring to Be, where we engage, educate, equip, and empower. Listen, you are in for a treat today. We have with us Antonette Bryant, and she has awesome wisdom to share with us today. Listen, if you've ever thought I'm too old for that or my season has passed, she has a word that will encourage and inspire you today. Hello, Antoinette. Hello, hello.
Dr. Latisha, thank you so much for those kind words. Thank you. Thank you. I am so humbled by this whole event. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to speaking with you and to your audience as well.
Blessings, and thank you so much for coming on. We're going to get right into it.
Okay,
Who
let's go.
is Antoinette Bryant? Who are you, and what is your passion work? Share with us today.
Wow, Dr. Latisha, I could tell you so many facets of who I am. I make a diamond look like a stone. I have so many different facets into who I am and what I do and what makes me up. But if I were to talk generally, I am a daughter. I am a sister. I am a mother. I am an auntie. I am a cousin. I am a friend. I'm a play mama. I'm a Gigi. I'm a grandma. I'm a queenager. I mean, all those things wrapped up into one. I'm a person that loves life. I love people. Every job I've ever had has been customer service related because I love people. I love interacting with people. I love making people smile, bringing out their best. I just love being me. I love enjoying life and the blessings that God has bestowed upon me. Don't get me wrong, it hasn't been easy, but through it all, if you smile, if you lead with a positive thought, everything else will roll into place.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I want to key in on a specific word that you said. So
Okay.
you can explain to the people what is a queen ager?
Well, I don't want to share all of my secrets because I do have my information and my shows coming out soon. So I will tease you with this piece.
Yes.
You want to know, you're going to have to look me up and you're going to have to get online and check me out. So you got to pick another word.
Yes, I love that. But I will say, just from the vibrance of your personality, a queen ager is someone who does not allow age and life to dictate who they are.
That
And
part.
you show up with all the vibrance. Listen, your smile is contagious. Your personality is a life giving. So I'm going to define that as a queenager. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So, what would you say to seasoned adults that feel like technology and culture are barriers that they cannot overcome?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely. I want anyone that is listening that has that thought, I'm going to need you to put it out of your mind, not now, but right now. And let me give you an example. My dad is 93 years old or 92 years old. Okay. 92 years young. His license plate on his car is 1D4L, Mr. Wonderful. Okay. He has had that license plate as long as I can remember. He is still golfing. He is still driving. And he has a Facebook account that he's on regularly. He is constantly making little notes and adding things on, commenting on things. So
Yes.
if I, at 68, would have an age barrier, he and my grandmother, his mother, rest her soul, would come and slap me. Okay. They are young at heart. They always have been. My dad is, I mean, he's so funny, and I'm thinking I called him one day just to check on him because my parents live in San Francisco. And I said, Daddy, what are you doing? He said, oh, I'm getting ready to climb up on the roof and move the satellite dish. I was like, what? Now, my oldest son lives in San Francisco. And I said, Daddy, did you call Dre? And he was like, no, I could do it. I said, Daddy, Dre is 44 and he ain't got no business on a roof, let alone you get off the roof. I'll call him any time of the day. He's picking weeds. I'm gonna go out in the backyard, catch some sun. I'm going to golf today. He and my mom have this hangout spot that they go to every Saturday. They go to the club, 92 years young. So I mean, I'm talking about life, but to specifically answer your question with regard to technology, you can't let it stop you. What if our forefathers had decided they didn't want to turn on a light, they wanted to continue to use candles? What if they decided they wanted to keep riding a horse instead of learning how to drive a car? There's so much automation and things that have come through. We can't stay stuck. It's our responsibility to move forward with the times. And so I feel like you've got to do something. There was a point in my life where I'm thinking, oh, I'm too old to do this. I can't. A perfect example, the group that you and I are both in, the Daniels Den.
Yes.
The first group of people I got in with were much younger than me. They could have been my children.
Yes.
And I was a bit intimidated. I'm going to put it out there. I was intimidated and I was thinking, actually, it was before the Den. I was in a book club reviewing Relational Intelligence by Dr. Darius Daniels. And all the women that were in that group were in their 20s, 30s, maybe one was in their 40s. So I could have been their mom, right? So I said, well, you know what, ladies, you guys are having a really spirited conversation. I'm probably not going to come back. The moderator was like, oh, no. We need you. And that was like the first key, like, okay, I'm not out of date. Right. I have my date hasn't expired, And so from then I got kind of fired and started doing some things and feeling really confident. It ebbs and flows. I have moments where I'm thinking, is this past your prime time? No, there is nothing that we can't do. God has created us to be our best selves. And that's not to be sitting stagnant, watching old reruns of Perry Mason, Columbo, Adam 12, whatever it is that you like. It's not about that. God wants us to move with the time. He has not allowed us to get to the age where we are to go stale and get cobwebs. And that's the first thing you have to put in your mind. I am vibrant, I am useful, I am productive, but most importantly, I have something to say. And as PD says, we are an answer to someone else's problem. It wasn't said that until a certain age. Okay, it didn't say, okay, you're an answer until you turn 60 or until you turn 65. My daddy and my mama are prime examples of people that are 92 years young. They will be married 69 years on New Year's Eve, that are doing their thing with their children, with their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. They're going strong. They're doing the legacy. We have a responsibility to the folks coming behind us to show them that life does not stop at 60. It doesn't stop at 70. It doesn't stop at 80. In fact, one of our sisters in the den, her grandmother's 104 and lived long and strong. So, we have a responsibility and an obligation to continue to pour out until God decides it's time for us to come home.
Yes. And so anyone who thinks that, I would just say, remember that you are not a carton of milk. You do not have an expiration date where you are outdated. None of us do, right? As long as we're breathing, God can use us. He has something for us.
Yes, indeed.
So I love it. What I really heard you describe was living.
Yes.
Whether it deals with technology or not, just decide, make the choice to live. It's our responsibility to live.
And Dr. Latisha, if I may add, not only is it important for people to live, it's more important that they don't just exist. Yeah. We're not here to exist. Right. We are here to live. We are here to thrive. We are here to be just vibrant, and to be out there. Some days you feel like, let me turn over and put the pillow over my head. Let that be the exception. Don't let it be the rule. Get outside and soak in that vitamin D. Get outside and connect with people. There are so many young people that don't know what they're missing by interacting with a seasoned person. You know what I mean? There's so much I learned from my children and my grandchildren. There's so much that I learned just vibing with people. There's a lot out there. We're not too, I hate that O word, OLD. We're not too seasoned, okay? We have things to contribute. Who wants a plain bland pot of chicken soup? No, you want a little smoked paprika. You want a little seasoning salt. You want a little garlic. You want
Yes.
cilantro. Girl, you want to put all that up in there. That's who we are.
Yes.
Our youth are the pot with the meat and the vegetables, but we're the seasoning that adds the flavor and
Yes.
consistency and the wonderful finished product. You can't be young without interacting with things that came before you.
Yes.
Conversely, you can't be seasoned without interacting with what's coming behind you. We've got to move with the times.
And I love that. I love that because I believe if we look at the biblical record, like there's evidence of that, right? And so
Yes,
we
indeed.
definitely need that because there's a wisdom that comes with life and living if we allow it. And
Yes.
being younger means that someone has lived your experience
Yes,
before.
indeed.
Yes. And we ought not have to experience every problem. We ought to be willing to learn, right, from someone
And let us
else.
navigate. Let us help you navigate through some of the
Yes.
tough times. Yes, experience is a teacher. Yes, you can learn from experience, but there's also that modicum of wisdom that can help you learn at maybe a faster rate, avoid some of the pitfalls, and instead of being on the dirt road, you can be on the expressway, still hitting some traffic bumps and stops along the road, but not the ditches, not the mud pits, not what you would have ridden on a horse. You could be in a Tesla and we can help you navigate, you know.
Absolutely. Yes,
Indeed.
I love it. I
Indeed.
love it. So, how can someone leverage their years of experience and insights to redefine their goals to align with purpose in their current stage of life? How can someone do that? Leverage their years of experience and insights to redefine their goals.
Well, I think one of the things that I did was to see what made my heart beat. What was I passionate about? What really stroked me and was like, ooh, you know. But I started writing down things that I really loved, books, thoughts, ideas, and what can I add to that? What did I learn from this particular author? What did I learn when Iyanla Vanzant wrote that book, or wrote one of any of her books? Okay. What did I pick up that helped me to move along? Because I read her book in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. So now at 68, how did what those words said help me now? How did Maya Angelou's wisdom help me? So you pick up those nuggets and you determine this is what helped me move along. What in this melange of things can I share with others that can help them on their journey? Because no one wants to be suffocated. Everybody does want to make their own mistakes, but I don't think anybody minds having a piece of wisdom added. Or what did you do when you were a single parent, or when you were trying to navigate a male-dominated workforce? Or what did you do when you were the first African-American female president of your union? These are all things that I had to deal with, and wishing that I had had someone that I could have said, hey, can I get some wisdom from you? And there were people that could help me, but imagine what it would look like if there was a cadre of people set up that could address the circumstances of your life. Hey, you know what? I need someone to help me with unionism, being a union representative or being a member of a union. Who could I talk to? Oh, Antonette was a union member for 40 plus years. Maybe I can go to her. But who did Antonette go to 40 years ago? You know what I mean? So there's got to be a each one reach one, each one teach one. We've got to do that. It's our responsibility. And I've always believed in that. We lift as we rise. Because if we don't, we're violating what God's purpose is for us on this earth, and we're harming the future generations.
I love that. I love that. And so that's always looking forward with purpose in mind.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. And that helps us to thrive. That helps us to thrive. What are some strategies that we can use as we are maturing to combat the mindset or the feeling of no longer being valuable to contribute in meaningful ways?
I think an important strategy is continuing to educate yourself. Education never goes out of style on whatever it is. Is it crocheting? Is it ballroom dancing? Is it line dancing? Is it stepping? Whatever it is, continue to educate yourself. Write down the things that really bring you joy and grow in those things. You know, don't be sedentary. That's one thing. Do not stay stuck in your chair. Now, I will tell you, I'm one of the best at watching TV. Everybody that knows me knows I'm a huge sports fanatic.
Yes.
All my Bay Area, San Francisco Warriors, they're the Golden State Warriors, the 49ers, the San Francisco Giants. Those are my main three, but I'm a sports nut. Tennis, gymnastics, ice skating, I'm riveted to the TV. Track and field. But by the same token, how am I riveted to those things? Because I learned about them and I increased my knowledge about them. My boys, because I have three boys or three young men, I don't want them to be offended, that they learned sports from me and then whatever they picked up. Because I was sitting in front of the TV like, you know, and I have been, my grandmother used to listen to the San Francisco Giants on her radio when I was a little girl. And she always had them on. And I think I got my sports love from her because she, oh my God, you talk about a diehard San Francisco Giants fan, that was my grandmother. And from that just blossomed sports. I'm a season ticket holder for the Warriors. My dad is a season ticket holder for the 49ers. He has been forever. I only have, I think, 15, almost not quite 20 years in. My dad's been a season ticket holder for forever. So, you know, sports, reading, I've always loved to read. So if I were to say something to the folks, what's your passion? What did you grow up loving? Do you still love it? If so, learn more about it. Get it, because the crocheting I did at 19, it's not the crocheting they're doing now. The dancing I love to do at 19 is not the dancing they're doing now. The reading, the authors, they've all changed and evolved. We have to evolve with the times. We can't afford to stay stuck in any area unless it's cooking. Because I don't want no new nothing. I want my grandmother's recipes. Okay?
Yes.
I want that good down home soul food cooking. I mean, I want to be healthy, but every so often, you got to drop a ham hock in them greens. You got to drop a ham hock. You got to go back to the old, because some of that does not go out of style.
Yes.
You know? But as far as our life and living, we've got to grow. We've got to blossom. We've got to continue to recreate ourselves, staying true to the original form, but adding things. You know, people take flowers, orchids, for example, and they will prune them and hybrid them with something else. And it's a beautiful orchid nonetheless, but it's got different features and factors.
Yeah.
That's what I think we should do with ourselves. Continue to bloom, continue to prune, continue to add variations of that orchid so that we become our best selves.
I love that. I love that because I always say if we're not growing, we're dying.
Exactly. That's
If
so
there
true.
is a living organism, if it is not growing, it will die.
Yes.
Right? It will die out. So I love that. I love that analogy because orchids are beautiful. They are absolutely
Yes.
beautiful. And it's important, I think, for people to recognize that God didn't make us to just live in one season of our lives.
Yes. I'm so different than I was 3 months ago.
Yes.
You know, I mean, um, without going into detail, the issues that I've gone in with my health and other things, I'm so different than I was 3 years ago. And I think it's important that we do have something to fall back on. If I may say, 3 years ago, I was fired from my job, totally unexpectedly. I went into a tailspin. I was depressed. I didn't know what I was going to do. Most of my friends had no idea how severe that depression was. And one of the things I did in reflection was what could I have done to avoid or navigate and circumvent better my situation? I could have had something, a side gig, if you will, something to fall back on. I could have had I was so focused in my job and what I was doing, I wasn't looking left or right. And when God snatched it from me, because it was a God move, my bishop told me at the time, he said, God fired you because you were not being appreciated, you were being tolerated. Those words were like watering me because my plant was dying. And I was like, he said, you have so many gifts. And then he started shooting off all these things because I was in the Bay Area when I was president of my union, and it was a struggle. There were a lot of things that went on, but his encouragement, the congregation's encouragement, my friends and family, really helped me through. I had forgotten about that. Don't forget what brought you to where you are. Reach back and take the nuggets of gold, no, not even gold, platinum that brought you through.
Yes.
And build on that. Because I was a hot mess. I mean, but on the outside, hey, how you doing? But I was crying to myself every night. I was so depressed. I didn't have a plan. And one thing about it is you got to have a plan. I've talked to a few of my clients that are really spurring me on to get my plan in order for 2024. Most of us have made the mistake of living day to day, and we're not planning out, or we're only planning out 2 or 3 days at a time. One client that I had told me she has a 5-year plan.
Yes.
I was like, what? And I mean, yes, it's generic and it's subject to change, but the fact that you've even projected 5 years in advance, that's something we need to tell our children. Don't live for the moment. What are you going to do? Have different plans, different ideas and avenues in case one gets flooded. Oh, I got a detour. Don't be stuck on that highway. There are detours available if we create them for ourselves and for our lives. So
I like that, because one thing that is going to happen, life is going to be out here life. Yes, I like that.
Yes,
I like that.
yes.
So knowing that, it means that we prepare ourselves as much as we're able for the unexpected. Yes, yes.
Because the unexpected is coming. So
yes.
We might as well have a plan to navigate it.
Right, right. And I like, our mentor always says we need to have a pain plan. Or how will you deal with the painful situations and circumstances? So yes,
And I had never even heard that process until he said that. And I was like, a pain plan. And then when he was laying it out, I thought, oh, that makes so much sense. And then I went back in my head and said, ooh, if I had a pain plan for this and a pain plan for that. But you can't live in the past. That's one thing. Don't stay stuck in your circumstances. It's one of the things I help my clients. There is a better out there. Everything has a purpose and a reason in your life, be it good, bad, or indifferent. Glean what's going to help you move forward. And like the wheat and the chaff, put the chaff out and keep going with the wheat. And move forward. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
One thing my father in ministry would say is eat the meat, spit out the bones.
That part.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Because there's something to be gained from every situation in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. So is that one of the things that you use to mentor younger colleagues and create a more inclusive work or service environment to help them to do that?
Absolutely. I think one of the things that I was mentoring some young women to become union stewards prior to my termination, but I still speak with them and others in the union. It's important that they glean good information and that you give them the wisdom they need, the steps. They're still going to make it their own, because no one wants cookie cutter. Because if we were going to be cookie cutter, God would have made us all to look alike, sound alike, walk alike, shaped alike, the whole nine. He didn't do that because there's diversity, but that diversity does not mean that you just stay stuck. we have an obligation to the younger folks. And I think for me, when I'm talking to people, I try always to look at it from their point of view. I always want to know what they're thinking, where they're going, and what their thought process is. What do you want to glean out of this situation? And then we go from there, basically pulling out their experiences and a little bit of seasoning of my own, because it's for their ride. They can't take my ride, and I can't take their ride. Their journey is their own. My job, my responsibility, my mission, my purpose is to help them along the way for their journey to attain their best selves and their best life.
Wow. So I see you as a bridge, between generations, right? Between people of different ages, bridging old and new, so that people understand it's not either or, it's both and. It's both
Yes,
and.
yes,
Yes, yes.
yes.
So share with us um, what you're doing, what resources you're working on, to support others who are seeking to discover or rediscover who they
Yes,
are.
yes, yes. Or discover the new them.
Yes.
I am putting together some content, working on some ebooks and webinar courses, but right now I'm doing one-on-ones. So if people are interested in coaching or mentoring in some area, that's what my primary focus is. However, the word that I'm hearing, that I keep hearing, is onward and upward. So in other words, it's time for me to move forward in my process, because I can't just talk it, I got to do it and put it together. So I am working on some things. One thing I tell people is every coach needs a coach. And so I have a coach that is working with me to help me get my content and things out there, so people can know who I am and what they can do for their lives. Because it's not about me. It's about each person seeking and finding what their kingdom or queendom is and how to get there.
Yes. I love that. And so if we're going to thrive, if we choose to live, we've got to be willing to grow, to expand.
Yes.
We've got to be willing to step outside of the box,
Yeah,
no matter what
absolutely.
season of life we're in,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Any words of wisdom that you want to leave with us? Any prayer points? Anything? Share with us from your heart before we sign off.
Oh my, let's see. Well, I think about Jeremiah, and for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper. That you have to trust in the Lord and know that everything that has happened in your life, there's a purpose of it. I have had some situations that weren't great situations. I've been in an abusive relationship. I was sexually assaulted. I mean, a lot of things, but you can't stay stuck in those circumstances. You have to rise. It's about redeeming yourself, from redemption to resilience. There is so much more in your life. It's a facet of what happened in my life, but I don't let that define me. And I would encourage people, if you've been through a situation, because we all have, I mean, let's keep it 100. Everybody's gone through something, a dark period in their life. And it's not for me or anyone else to say how dark that period was or how you should get out of it. But if you're ready to get out of it, then you've got to recognize that there is something on the other side of that storm. That rainbow is waiting, but it's not going to come to you. Like Prince Charming ain't coming knocking on the door, and neither is Princess Charming. You got to get out there and make your life what it is. People are waiting for you. One of the things, like you said, our mentor says is, we have an audience. We are an answer to someone else's problem, but we can't be that answer if we are the problem. So taking nuggets of who you are and actually honestly harvesting the good and the bad, because all of that has to do with who you are. All of that is part of the puzzle that you are. And we've got to dig. It hurts. It's hurtful. But if we don't do it and we let scabs form, they're never going to heal. And we cannot be our best selves. So I would encourage everyone to take the honest deep dive. My bishop from California, he used to say, it's time for you to do the Jacques Cousteau in your own life.
Ooh.
And for those young people that don't know who Jacques Cousteau is, Google him. I'm not going to tell you go to a dictionary or encyclopedia. You may not know what that is, but y'all know Google. Deep dive, deep dive. Don't do surface, because surface is doing a disservice to yourself and to those that are looking for you to be the answer to their problem.
Thank you. This has been so rich and such a blessing. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you most of all for always leading with your heart and allowing the Spirit of God to speak through you to us.
Amen.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, Dr. Latisha. It was an honor to be here. And I will be expecting you when I start doing guests and things. Just know that there's a quid pro quo, sister.
Yes, ma'am. Happy to do it. And so thank you all for tuning in, for watching. Pray that you were blessed and you were able to receive the wisdom that God spoke through our guest, Antonette, today. And until next time, keep daring to be, because with God, the possibilities are endless. Thank you and have a great day.